Okay, so welcome to the short video on lesson 5.03, volume of prisms and cylinders. The problem set for this lesson is problems 1 through 9 on page 434 of the reference guide, so after you've watched this, please do make sure to complete that problem set before taking the quiz. Okay, here's the information that we're going to be using for the prisms. The volume of a prism, if the base is a square or a rectangle. Now, perhaps I should mention that the base is the bottom part or the top part. Base actually could refer to either one. Basically, it's whatever side of the figure, any side of the prism that might not be a rectangle. If you look at this example of a prism down here, the base has to be the sides that are triangles because they're not rectangles. With the rectangular prism, like right here, in fact, any of these sides could be considered a base, but when we don't have one specifically determined as the base, we usually just use the bottom or the top. Okay, so the base is, if the base is something besides a rectangle, would be like this one here where it's a triangle. So if the base is a rectangle or a square, then you can just do length times width times height. If the base is not a rectangle, you'll be finding the area of the base separately and then multiplying by the height. This is actually technically the same thing as length times width times height in the sense that the area of a rectangle is length times width. So we're still doing the area of the base times the height. It's just with a rectangle it's a little bit easier since it's just length times width on the bottom. So for this one, like, we'd be doing 1/2 base times height because that's a triangle on the bottom, and then times the height of the prism. So you'll see how this works. Okay, so we're going to find the volume of this prism. Notice that this prism is a rectangular prism. It has a base of 9 feet by 3 feet. It's a rectangle. So for this one, the volume, because it is a rectangular prism, I can just multiply the length times the width times the height. So length times width times height. So the volume would be the length, which I'm going to call 9, times the width, which I'm going to call 3, times the height, which is 2. So the volume here will be 9 times 3, which is 27, times 2. 27 times 2 is 54. Now I do need units. Just like we did the volume had units on the cubes, same idea. It would be feet cubed because it is volume. So it's feet cubed. It's also feet cubed because we did 2 feet times 9 feet times 3 feet. So that was feet times feet times feet, which would be feet cubed. So that's another reason. Okay, so that's really all there is to this. So when it's a rectangular prism, it should be super, super easy. Here's an example where the base is not a rectangle. The base on this is a trapezoid. So we'll need to start by finding the area of the base, which in this case for a trapezoid, the area is going to be, remember we had this before, 1/2 the first base plus the second base divided by 2 or multiplied by 1/2, that's why the 1/2 is out there, times the height of the trapezoid. So if we take a look at this trapezoid, we're going to do area equals 1/2 times base 1 times base, or plus base 2. The two bases of the trapezoid are 7 and 11. And the height of the trapezoid is at 4 meters. So now I'm going to work that out. This is still, we're just doing the area of the base. So it's 1/2. 7 plus 11 is 18 times 4. Half of 18, so 1/2 times 18 is 9. 9 times 4, which is 36. So the area of the base is 36. So now for the volume, I have to do the area of the base times the height. Let's make that box a little wider so we can see that together. Okay, so now I'm going to do that. The area of the base was 36. The height of this prism is 6 meters. Whoops. So times 6. So 36 times 6, I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator because I don't feel like doing that by hand, which is 216. And then again, I have to watch my units. So meters cubed. So that is my volume. I wanted to point out something to you guys here. Notice that this 5 meters was actually not helpful We did not use this at any point. This 5 meters is the length of this side of the trapezoid. This side of the trapezoid is not used for finding the area of the base, and it is not the height of the prism, so we actually don't need that at all. Okay, so for cylinders, it's actually still essentially the same idea. A cylinder has a circular base, so the base here you'll notice is a circle. So just like with the prism, we are going to find the area of the base first and then multiply by the height. So a couple different ways. One way of writing is area of the circle times the height is the volume of a cylinder. The area of a circle, in case you forgot, is area equals pi r squared. And so then we can put the volume formula for a cylinder all together and say pi r squared h. Again, the pi r squared, that's the area of the circle, and then h represents the height. You know, don't forget I believe you can pause this, so you might consider pausing it, writing all this down, making sure you have it. Okay, so here's an example problem. If we're going to find the volume of this cylinder, I am going to use the whole volume formula here, because I expect that's probably the way most of you would like to do it. So using this volume formula, I'm going to just plug in the information I've been given here. If I look at the picture, I can see, well, first of all, there's pi here. Hold on one second while I put that symbol in. So pi r squared, the radius here is 5, so it's going to be 5 squared, times h, the height here is 14. So volume will be 3.14, we're going to use that for pi, times 25, 5 squared is 25, times 14. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. I'm going to do 3.14 times 25 times 14, all that together, and I get 1,099. I'm going to double check to make sure I plugged everything in right, and yeah, that looks about right. We're good. I still need my units, so I put centimeters cubed because we are still doing a volume and all of our units were in centimeters. So there we go. Hopefully this was helpful and shows you how to do those kinds of problems that you're going to see in the problem set and on the quiz. Please do make sure that you do that problem set before you actually start the quiz, okay? It's only 9 problems, and as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. You just have to use the formulas, okay? Do make sure to take a look and go review the formulas for the areas of the different kinds of bases you might see. So make sure you know that a triangle is 1/2 base times height, that you know that a trapezoid, that 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 all times the height. I'm trying to think what a parallelogram is, still base times height. So make sure that you've reviewed those so that you'll be able to handle those different bases of the prisms. But other than that, everything you need is here. So do it. Only 9 problems. Shouldn't take you too long. Alrighty? Thanks. Bye.